What's up, YouTube world? It's your boy Lucha, aka Matthew J. Brownlee, and I'm back with another pay-per-view review. Yes, that's right. It is Elimination Chamber 2021. We had Royal Rumble literally like last week sometime. It felt like it happened like a week ago. I think it happened like last month, like end of January. Now it's end of February, and here we are, Elimination Chamber. A lot of cool things happened. It was a weirdly booked show, but one that wasn't, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it as a whole. So we're going to get into this. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, all the other good stuff. There was only 4 matches to this show, which, we like those. The show maybe was 2.5 hours long. We like those too. So yeah, man, it was good stuff. Before we get to any of that, pre-show match that I did not watch because I should have watched it, but I didn't watch it because I had to work. Came back at like a little bit after 7, so I got in just in the middle of the Elimination Chamber match. But they announced that Keith Lee couldn't wrestle. I guess he was injured or sick, or they pulled him for whatever reason. So they made a fatal 4-way for a number 1 contenders match between, I think Elias was in the match for whatever reason. Mustafa Ali, Ricochet, and John Morrison. The winner would go on be replaced in the triple threat match. And from what I heard, it was a good match. I really want to go back and watch the match because there's, 3 or 4 really good wrestlers in there, and I assumed it was a well-paced match. Ricochet's fantastic. Ali's fantastic. I saw the ending part where Ricochet was doing his flippy flips, and then T-Bar and the other one, Mace, caught him and then slammed him somewhere. Ali was laughing or was saying something, and then John Morrison came from behind, rolled him up for the win. So John Morrison wins. It looks like Ali is not done with Ali's not done with Retribution. Retribution is not done with Ricochet. I guess there might be a little stuff that's still there. Maybe they might throw John Morrison in that now because he rolled him up. I don't know. They can do a lot of things with that, but he wins, so good for him. John Morrison's great, so it's great that he gets to show off some of the wrestlings that he got to do twice tonight. So that's always great. So the Elimination Chamber starts with the SmackDown Elimination Chamber. So I was like, as soon as I got here, I was like, the SmackDown one is starting? I was like, that means big things popping for Raw. Like something's happening for Raw for that to go last. So Cesaro and Bryan start the match. Of course, as always, Cesaro and Bryan are fantastic at wrestling. So their exchange that they do back and forth is fantastic. Who would have thought? Next out is Corbin. This is the part where I came in. Corbin was doing big moves on Cesaro and Bryan. I saw there was one spot where Cesaro did the swing on Corbin. They did a thing where Bryan does his drop kicks back and forth to Corbin and Cesaro, and then he went to do one to Cesaro again, and Cesaro moved out the way, did the running uppercuts to everybody, and then he went to go to Corbin. Corbin did deep 6 on him, and then he did deep 6 on Bryan, which was great. Love that spot. Next out is Sammy. Sammy comes out, and there was a spot where him and Corbin was jaw-jacking each other. So Sammy came. So when it came in, Corbin was there, and then Sammy was like, "Nah, I don't want none of the smoke." So he went to close his pod, and then Bryan came behind him and attacked him, and then Sammy was like, "Ha, ha, ha," and then Cesaro came from the other side of the pod, uppercuts. Cesaro killed it in this Elimination Chamber. I thought he was gonna win, but he didn't. And then Owens comes out. I think Cesaro did the swing on Corbin. I think he tapped him out to the sharpshooter. So Corbin is eliminated. Owens comes out. Owens was about to attack them, and then Sami was like, "Hey, we work together. We have history. Work together." Owens is like, "Yeah, we work together." No, and then he starts being Sami attacking them, throwing all over the cell walls and stuff like that. And then he hits cannonballs. He hits super kicks. So they did the spot that they kind of did on SmackDown without Corbin. He hits the cannonballs on everybody. He hit a super kick, I think, on Cesaro or something like that. He comes with the suplex, exploded suplex from behind. Sami does. Cesaro hits the uppercut on Sami. Bryan hits the knee plus on Cesaro. Pop-up powerbomb by Owens. Then he's in control again. And then Jey Uso comes out. Jey Uso and him, they fight each other. And then they had a spot where, Owens likes to jump off stuff. That's his thing. He goes find something. He's like, I want to jump off of it. So he jumps. So he gets on top of the pod, and moonsaults. Just whole Kevin Steen action. Just doing moonsaults now. It was a beautiful moonsault too. So that was great. And then he gives everybody stunners, including Sami, for the pin. So he gets beat. And then as soon as he gets out, they take out the door cage for. They did two of these spots, and they both did them uniquely in different ways. So Sami is leaving, and then Owens is there. I think he's like jaw jacking him or whatever. And Jey Uso takes like the wall, the chamber part of the wall, closes it on Owens' arm, and then just like unleashes, like the ref was trying to tell him like to move, like so he was like, no, I'm not doing it. And then he holds it and then just starts super kicking him in the face, like Young Buck style, just like super kick. Like I think he did like 5 times before he finally released it. And it's he rolled him in the ring, super kicked him again, hit him with a splash. 1, 2, 3. Jey Uso pins Owens. Owens is eliminated. That was fire. Gets Bryan's knee. Oh, and then after that, he started attacking Bryan's knee. I was like, what does that mean? Then he started attacking Bryan's knee. And then he went to go against Cesaro. Like, he went to jump off Cesaro. Cesaro, like, jumped and did, like, an uppercut. That was fire. Then they had, like, a great back and forth. Cesaro did, like, a flying elbow on Sami. And then he took Jey Uso out. And then him and Bryan, again, had a great back and forth. Cesaro hit, like, an avalanche gutbuster. He did, like, a single lab swing, so he swung him like single crab leg style, and then Jay super kicks him. Cesaro goes on top, boom, splashes him. 1, 2, 3. Cesaro gets eliminated, and then he sees Bryan. He was like, "Oh, Bryan, let me get him too." He pulls him, boom, super splash on him. 1, 2, kick out. He was like, "Wait, what? I just splashed Cesaro and I splashed Kevin Owens. They kick out. They didn't kick out. You kick out? Okay, I got you. So he brings him on the other side, goes on top of the pod, does another splash. No, get out of here with that foolishness. Knees up, gets him, knee plus. 1, 2, 3. Your winner of the chamber match. I think for the second time. This is Daniel Bryan. I think he won the second chamber match. But then of course, raises the cage. Dun, 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 dun. That's Roman Reigns' music. He comes out, and of course, Daniel Bryan, ultimate underdog babyface. We should have saw this coming, that he was going to be the one to come out on top. And actually, this was smartly booked, that of all the people to take what happened would be Daniel Bryan, because he's Daniel Bryan. Roman Reigns comes out, Daniel Bryan gets in, the bell rings, Roman Reigns goes for an immediate spear. No, he like counter reverses his momentum, put him in a label lock. He has him in there for a good minute, and then Roman Reigns like just gets angry and he starts like elbowing him like all over the place. Just elbows him, power bombs him, elbows him again, locks in the guillotine, and Roman Reigns wins. So yeah, and then after the match, he turns around, boom, spear by Edge, which was actually a nice looking spear from Edge. And then he was like, hey. He points at the WrestleMania sign, and then he and they got real close to him like this, did the whisper thing like that, and he was like, yeah, I know that you like that match that I had some years ago when I won the title, and now I'm coming back for you. Yeah. I'm glad you cried when me and Christian hugged at the Royal Rumble. Yeah, man, that's cool, man. It's gonna be me on that WrestleMania, man. So that was a whole thing. That's exactly what he said. I promise. And then he pointed at it again, and then like fireworks happened. Like, so I'm assuming that's gonna be the main event for night 2 of WrestleMania. Yeah, this was smartly booked because of the fact that everybody wanted Cesaro to win or whoever, but the fact that Cesaro, he did really good. He killed it in elimination. He got an elimination in the chamber. For anybody else, like for him, for Kevin Owens, for Sami Zayn, to get done after this match and just get destroyed like that, I think that worked better with Bryan than anybody else. Because if there would have been Cesaro, he had all this momentum, and then out of nowhere he wins, and then he just like gets speared, like he tries to spear him, but he like catches him with like an uppercut, and then he gets out too, and then he tries a sharpshooter, and then he gets out, and then elbows him, blocks him in the guillotine, he passes out. They'd be like, eh. But since it's Daniel Bryan, ultimate babyface, he could take a loss like that. I think it was fine. Doesn't hurt anybody else. Daniel Bryan could take that L, and we can move on to Cesaro versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, which would be fire. So second match. Well, before that, I'm sorry, this was the thing. Bad Bunny was with Sonya Deville. Sonya Deville just pretty much said, if you need anything, my office is right there. And then Miz comes, and then Sonya was like, I see my way out. And Miz just pretty much said, yeah, I saw your performance on Saturday Night Live. Probably been better. Me and Morrison was there doing our hit single, but yeah, whatever. And he was like, what are you even doing here? And then Bad Bunny was like, I'm champion, 24/7 champion, your boy. What are you doing here? You're not even a champion. Like, why are you not scheduled for the show? And then like he got mad and he pushed him. And then Bad Bunny slapped some fire out of the Miz, and the Miz was like, oh, all right, that's how you feel? He went to turn back up to do something, and Damian Priest was standing right there. And then Miz was like, yeah, I'm just going to see myself out. And then they talked about something in Spanish, and then they left. Next up, triple threat match for the United States Championship. It is Matt Riddle looking dope versus John Morrison, who won that Fatal 4-Way, versus the champion, Bobby Lashley. This was fun. I liked everything about this. This was Bobby Lashley holding everything together, being a dominant gangster he is. And I've said forever and ever and ever and ever, Bobby Lashley is way above the United States Championship now. He did what he had to do. He got the belt over. He's been dominant. It's time for him to move on to bigger and better things. And again, this match showed that Bobby Lashley cannot be stopped. He dominated everybody. They tried to double team him twice. First time didn't work. Tried to do it separately, didn't work. And then they finally, for like a little bit, got Lashley out the picture, just a little bit. They took him out, and then Matt Riddle and John Morrison had like a great exchange because they're great, and I'll say this part in a second. So that was great. I think what happened? I don't remember what happened. There was something that happened between them. I think John Morrison went for like a pin or something on Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle got up and he started beating everybody, started beating up everybody again, and then they went to take Lashley out again. I think Matt Riddle hit like the floating bro, and then John Morrison hit the Starship Pain, 1-2 kick out. MVP's on the sidelines. It was like, ha, that weak move has been good since 2011. You thought that was gonna pin Bobby Lashley? You thought that weak move was gonna pin Bobby Lashley? And then Morrison's like, yo, shut up. Like, he was like, what are you gonna do? He's like, I got crutches. He's like, yo, you want those crutches? So he snatched the crutches from him, bucked at him, went in the ring. He's about to hit him with the crutch. Bobby Lashley said no, hurt lock, which was great. And for some reason, John Morrison didn't tap out immediately. He got in that hurt lock for a good, like, he was in that hurt lock for a good 15 seconds. It didn't tap out. And then Matt Riddle came. He grabbed his crutches. Boom, beat Bobby with the crutches like a couple of times before it broke off. He fell out the ring. Bro Derek on John Morrison for the 1, the 2, and the 3. Your new United States champion, Bro Derek, Matt Riddle, fantastic. And he dipped. He was out that piece. He was like, bye, deuces, throwing up the deuces. And he was out. Bobby Lashley was so mad. He was mad. So good for him. Like, oh yeah, so I was going to say earlier, yeah, Matt Riddle versus John Morrison, 1-on-1, United States Championship. Oh, yes. Give me some of that. I hope they do an open challenge for it with Matt Riddle. I hope they do it. And they have John Morrison in there. You throw in Damian Priest, throwing whoever else is on in that mid card. Oh, throwing Ricochet, throwing Mustafa Ali, throwing Xavier Woods, throwing Kofi Kingston. Oh, give me all of it. Just every week, just give me all of that stuff. Just give me fantastic matches. Yeah, I love everything about that. And yeah, that was fantastic. I loved everything about that. And then next up is your tag team match. Unfortunately, there was no Asuka. She should have had an open challenge and won. But you know what? You can't all have what we want. You have the champions, Shayna and Nia. They come out. And then they had an interview with Sasha and EST, Bianca Belair. I always forget her name. I don't know why I always forget her name. She's the greatest. EST, the great EST. She comes out and well, they have an interview with them, and they talk about how well they work together, and that she's gonna choose her opponent for WrestleMania because she hasn't decided yet. And then Reginald comes out. It was like, just don't worry about that right now. It's like, first we worry about you guys being tag team champions, and then I'll go get my finest champagne for the celebration. They say, hey, sounds good. And they go out. This was pretty good. This was fun. I didn't mind it. Sasha Banks is just so good. Like, everything that she does, like, she just makes everybody better. Like, I say the same thing about Bayley. Like, her and Bayley, like, every time they wrestle somebody, they just bring them up to that level. And then when I was watching this, I was like, give me Shayna Baszler versus Sasha Banks. Yes, Shayna Baszler versus Sasha Banks. We like those. Give me some of that. I like all of that. So that was fantastic. So yeah, that was good stuff. They had some decent double team moves. They did the Grand Slam. I think it was like a Grand Slam splash. I think one hit a Grand Slam, the other one hit like a frog splash for a 2. Some Grand Slam knee face busters. So if they ever wanted to be a tag team down the line, some years down the line, you know, they would work really well together. Nia was getting beat up by Sasha. Sasha's just so good at everything. She's so great. In the end, though, the sommelier, Mr. Reginald, comes down with the bottle. Tries to do the Carmella. What he does with Carmella, he distracts her with the bottle. He was like, here, take this bottle, beat Nia off the head with it. He was like, no, what are you doing? I'm not doing this. It's stupid. And then the ref sees it. He's like, what are you doing? Give me the bottle. And she's like, wait, no, I wasn't doing that. She turns around. Boom, Samoan drop from Nia Jax. 1, 2, 3. Your winners is still tag team champions, Shayna and Nia. And then my girl Bianca comes in, and she was like, "Bro, what are you doing? Like, why? Why are you out here? Cost us the match." And they're yelling at Reginald. Reginald was like, "Oh, my bad. I don't know." So I don't know the story behind this. If they're like, if this is, because even like if it's Carmella's doing, it's like, yeah, it cost them the match, make them drive a wedge between each other, but they're not. They're like really good friends, and they're more mad at them for costing them the tag team titles. It's like it's not their fault. It's not like, I don't know. It's weird, but this is a weird way to set up Sasha versus Bianca. And I don't know if Carmella's going to be added into the match to make it a triple threat match at Mania. Which, if she is, that's kind of sad for Bianca because she like deserves this moment, like to have her a one-on-one WrestleMania match. And maybe now it might be a triple threat match. Really? I don't know. It's weird, but I guess we'll just find out when it happens. Next up, The Miz is talking with MVP. MVP is talking to Miz about something about Money in the Bank and what's happening going on over there. Anyways, after that is the main event. It is the men's WWE Championship Elimination Chamber match. So this starts off with Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton. Of course, as we know, Sheamus is last because he won the gauntlet match. This starts off how you would think it would start off. Slow. Very, very slow because Orton likes doing things very, very slow. He likes taking his time. He likes being, as they say, methodical. But in my mind, it's just called being slow. Yeah, I like how every time, I like the little things now with Kofi Kingston. Like, he got attacked from the Royal Rumble, from the Elimination Chamber, I think by Edge some years ago, like 10, 11 years ago. Every time he enters the chamber, he looks behind him, making sure that nobody attacks him. He goes into the pod and he starts like talking mess like every year. He's like, "Yeah, big quads. I like the quads. See the quads you're doing there." Him and AJ was yelling at each other from the outside of the pods, which was hilarious. So yeah. So they start off slow, methodical. You already know what it is. Then Drew comes out, and then he starts tearing up everybody. Well, the two that were in the ring. I think he hit he had like a couple bellies to Jeff Hardy. I think Randy Orton got like a DDT off on Drew McIntyre. There was no funny stuff. There was no Wyatt fiendish type of Alexa Blissy craziness. There was none of that happened on this thing, which people thought that was going to happen, and yeah, I'm glad it didn't. I really am glad it didn't because it didn't really need it. You still have Fastlane. Like, they've been feuding forever. You don't need everything that Randy Orton does just to be like, I'm going to have a match with him at WrestleMania. We know they're going to have a match with them at WrestleMania. You don't need to try to speed it through. Just let it do it. He might come up tonight on Raw. He might come at Fastlane. He might come the night after Fastlane. Like, it doesn't matter. You don't need craziness to finish the Fiend and Randy Orton. You don't need it every single time. But Kofi Kingston comes out next, and like 40 seconds in, he just pins Orton. He just give Orton a roll up, and he wins. He pins him, and Randy Orton's out. Another thing I like is how now ever since like the stupid thing in like Kofi Mania, ever since then, like, Kofi Kingston's just been beating Randy Orton, and I love every part of, like, he just pins him and beats him now, and it's great. Randy Orton, of course, is not happy about this, and he gives Kofi Kingston an RKO, and then he gives Jeff Hardy an RKO, and then he's about to leave, and AJ Styles is yelling at Omos. He's like, "Hey, break this cage pod thing, break it, toss it," and then he rips it off, tosses it out. He runs around the outside. He sees Randy Orton. He just stares at him as he walks away. He goes in the cage, and then they're like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "No disqualification. Leave me alone." And then he pins Kofi Kingston for 2, and then he pins Jeff Hardy as well for 2, which is smartly booked. That's very creative. They don't, a way to use Omos. And then Pierce is like yelling at Omos. Is like, leave, get out of here, get out of here. Omos is like, what? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Omos is just having fun. So that was great. That was a great bit. AJ Styles is great. There's a spot where Drew McIntyre has Jeff Hardy up, and he did like a superplex, like on the crate, like he did like a suplex thing slash, and then he like slammed him on the thing, on the chamber pad. That was kind of crazy. I like that. There was a Tower of Doom spot. Kofi was like at the top of the pod. I think Sheamus is out. Is Sheamus already out by now? Yeah, I think Sheamus is already out by now. Him and Drew, like they're fighting each other as Drew was beating up everybody. Then there was a Tower of Doom spot where I think Sheamus had Kofi up top to do something, but Drew McIntyre came in. He stopped that. Kofi went on top of the pod, and then he went to do a superplex on Sheamus, but then Jeff Hardy and AJ Styles came and did like the slam thing, double slam, and then I think, was it Jeff Hardy? No, AJ Styles went to do a pin on Sheamus, and he like kicks out at 2, and he like seamlessly like rolled through and did like a pin on Drew McIntyre, who also kicks out at 2, and then they all get up, and then Kofi Kingston comes from the top of the cave, does his dive thing. That was cool stuff. And then him and Kofi, Sheamus and Kofi do like an exchange thing. Kofi's chopping the mess out of Sheamus, just chopping him off. And then he does like a backbreaker type thing, but he like flips him up, and then he lands on his feet, and then he hits a brogue kick, pins Kofi Kingston 1, 2, 3. Kofi's eliminated. Jeff Hardy hits Twist of Fates. He hits the Whisper, and so he hit a Twist of Fate on AJ Styles. Sheamus and Drew is brawling on the outside. He was going to hit a Swanton Bomb, but then he moves out the way. So instead, I think he gets on like top of the pod. He hits a Whisper and win to to Sheamus and Drew. He goes on the other side to hit another Swanton Bomb to AJ Styles, lands it. As soon as he gets up, Claymore to the face bone. 1, 2, 3. Jeff Hardy has been eliminated. And then Sheamus hits a big knee on, like, it was like a brogue kick, but it was like a brogue knee, the brogue knee that he does on him for 2. And then AJ Styles, I think he went to go for a 450, but he kind of slipped a little bit. So instead, he just hit like a springboard senton kind of like thing. He got him for 2, and then he tried and then hit the 450 again for another 2. Sheamus is not happy. He was like, "Come on, man!" He starts beating up AJ for not pinning and getting the job done for Drew McIntyre. So he beats him up, and then he wants to beat up. He goes after Drew. He goes for a brogue kick. I think he hits a brogue kick on Drew, but before he goes for the pin, AJ Styles comes out of nowhere. Boom! Phenomenal forearm on Sheamus. 1, 2, 3. AJ eliminates Sheamus, which was a surprise. That caught me off guard. And then he goes for another phenomenal forearm on Drew McIntyre. Claymore in midair, which was crazy. 1, 2, 3. Drew beats AJ, your winner. Still WWE Champion, Drew McIntyre. Of course, Drew McIntyre's tired. The cage rises up. He's winner. He's celebrating. He goes in. He turns around. Spear from Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley just starts beating Drew McIntyre, mollywopping him all over the place. Outside, throws him back in. Boom, hits him with a flatliner. Then he put him in a hurt lock for about a good 10 seconds, just as long as Morrison lasted. And he hits him with a slam. Of course, The Miz, I came to play. Awesome. He comes out, cashes in his money in the bank finally, for realsies this time. Bell rings. He goes for like his DDT thing, gets it too. He was like, that was a stupid idea. Why would I do that? And then he picks him up. Skull crushing finale. Nice skull crushing finale. 1, 2, 3. Your winner and new WWE Champion for the first time in like 10 years, The Miz. I liked it. I liked it. Since we already know that Edge is facing Roman, that we knew that from the start, that Edge was facing Roman at WrestleMania. You need something big. You need something bold for Raw, for Drew McIntyre. And I think they realized that they don't need all these big crazy stars. It seems like they're going with Drew versus Bobby Lashley, which also means Bobby Lashley is going to be WWE champion, and I'm like, yes. And I said, like I said earlier, and I've said this before, I think it was time for Drew McIntyre to move on. I think he doesn't need to be United States champion. I think after this, like he's main event from here on out. I don't think he needs to touch the Intercontinental Championship anymore. He doesn't need to be United States champion anymore. He doesn't need to be tag team champion. He doesn't need any of that stuff. WWE champion, Universal champion for here on out for Bobby Lashley. It's long overdue for Bobby Lashley. And I'm assuming that's what the talk with MVP was. It was like, hey, we help you be WWE champion. You owe us WWE title match. I'm assuming that's what it was. And then my guess would probably be Miz would like double turn. He was like, no, you stupid. You think I was going to do that? Ha, I thank you for that. And then they might do a thing where Bobby Lashley starts murdering the Miz now. Maybe they might turn babyface. Maybe Hurt Miz might be a babyface thing. Maybe they might not be a babyface, but maybe they could be a babyface. He was like, oh, you broke a deal with me. Now that's not good for you. And then they do a triple threat at Fastlane. Maybe Bobby wins tonight on Raw, or maybe he'll win at Fastlane to lead to Bobby and Drew. But I think that Bobby's going to be a multiple-time WWE champion. And I think it's going to be great. Something caught me in the throat. But that was the show. I thought it was a good show. What would I grade it? I give it a B. A solid B. The 2 chamber matches was good. The triple, give it a B plus. Give it an A minus. F it. A minus. We give it an A minus. A minus for Elimination Chamber. The 2 chambers were really good. The opening chamber was really good. This chamber was the final chamber was really good. I liked the shock at the end with Miz cashing in. The triple threat match was really good. Great to see Riddle get a title, and I like as soon as Bobby Lashley loses, doesn't get pinned, straight to WWE champion, straight to the big dog. I like that. And I like the tag team match. The tag team match was really good. 4 matches, decent stuff. I don't think it was still better than Royal Rumble, but it was still. I think it was good. It was a good pay-per-view. So I'm gonna give it an A minus. Oh, and also they mentioned a little long-term story booking when MVP was feuding with MVP and Lashley was feuding with Drew McIntyre before. MVP stated that he said that he's gonna make sure the reason that Drew McIntyre loses his WWE Championship will be because of him. He said that last year, I think. Is like, I'm going to make it my mission to make sure that the reason that you lose your WWE Championship is because of me. And granted that Drew McIntyre had already lost the WWE Championship, but you could also say that the Hurt Business, like he wasn't worried about him at that time because Bobby Lashley was already United States champion, so he didn't care about him because he was too busy dominating other people. But now that he lost, he's gonna make his mission for Drew McIntyre to also lose, and he did lose to get MVP his chance to be WWE champion. So that's how you can spin it. That's accidental long-term storybooking probably, but long-term storybooking nonetheless. What did you guys think of the show? Let me know in the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out.